Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, are we good?
We shall see.
Okay. Well,
Let's just
anyways,
get
we can
started.
we can at least get started this way. Welcome. It is Saturday. It is our what? Our um second.
Our fourth Saturday of the month.
Yep. And we are the Seven C's of Real Estate, Vera Lynn Porter and Mandy St. Ange with Monarch Movement Real Estate Group, EXP Realty here in Texas. And we have a special guest with us this week. Our topic, we always talk about our seven C's, and one of those is collaboration and essentially coordination and working together with other entities of business to essentially have growth. And so we have asked Anna to join us today with just that topic of collaboration. What's it like to work with lender partners and agents, and how essentially together we can grow one another's business. So, Anna, we welcome you and would love the opportunity to hear a little bit more about you. I'm sure Vera Lynn wants to touch base and say hello. And then, Anna, we'll give it over to you to take just a few seconds to tell us, well, minutes maybe, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do, Anna, in our real estate industry. So, Vera Lynn.
Hello, everyone. This is Marilyn Porter with right here live on the Space Coast side with Florida Realty and Commercial. And I am here with my two friends here, great business partners, Mandy St. Ange from Texas with EXP Realty and Anna from Home Funding. I think I got that right, Anna? I talk to you all the time.
My home team funding. Very close. All our names are all similar, but
oh yes. So I'm gonna go ahead and I want to say I'm just proud and excited to introduce Anna here because she's a great lender here in the Florida area. She's just a wealth of knowledge. She is very well she just has everything put together, always organized, and she's just like a great person to come to when we have like some problem solving situations with mortgages and getting that lending situation together. So I want to introduce Anna from Orlando area. And Anna, here you are. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you both for inviting me. And Vera Lynn you're a pleasure to work with. I mean, true professional, and that's what makes collaboration a lot easier, a lot more seamless. And it's all about streamlining. So basically, I'm a mortgage broker now. I started in 2013, around the time where HARP, which was a program for a lot of people that were having difficulty like refinancing, and their values of each home was like underwater. So that's how I started in this industry, just helping people through the HARP program. And then from there, I just started to get to know different people in the industry. And then eventually 3 years later, I became licensed. And I've just been on my own ever since, just, working for various lenders. And I've done branch management. I pretty much work on my own. I don't particularly, I'm not very selective when it comes to programs and things of that nature. I'm pretty open to helping people as much as I can. In any way that I can. And creativity is a part of it, and collaborating with people like Vera Lynn.
Yes, it's just amazing. And I just want to thank you because I think how we got connected was really weird anyway, because I was making cold calls out. And it's really funny because I want to share this story. I was literally doing cold calls, and all of a sudden I'm just like reaching out to you saying, hey, are you interested in purchasing or buying a home? And then you were just like, I'm a mortgage lender. And then from there, it's just, and that was probably like 6 or 7 months ago.
Yeah. Yep.
And all of a sudden, it was like, well, can we connect? And then that was it. And we've been working just to finally get to work with you. And just, it's been amazing. Just handling different transactions and just talking with different people and different situations. So I'm just excited to share that and tell everybody, hey, look at Anna and home team lending and funding, and just kind of see what's going on here. So that I'm excited.
That makes me
I really want to start off.
that makes me actually
What did you
giggle.
say?
I said it makes me actually giggle just a little bit because we always, sorry Anna to like derail just a little bit.
Yeah.
We always talk about the different ways that like we generate business and growth, and we giggle and chuckle about some of like our mentors and all those things, and new modern ways of gathering business. And it just I find that just like so fitting that you would cold call. And it's a perfect example of like when we're up here on our soapbox and we're like, don't cold call. This is like a perfect example of like why not to, but then accidentally it might have been a good thing. You know what I mean? Like the intent and purpose was totally innocent. You did get lucky. You didn't necessarily get a client to close, but you did get a business partner that would help you grow your business. So I guess it's a good deal. But awkwards of cold calls.
Well, we just purchased our home, so we were like on the market to look, and then we sold our home. So Verilyn called me right after that happened. So maybe if she called me before, you never know what could have happened. Could have had double.
That's true. If we could have a book and it was just like the nightmares or the pros and cons of cold calling,
Yeah.
like this would be one in the book. So.
You know it is, because it was so funny, because when I called, I'm like, hey, yeah, how are you doing? My name is Verilyn Porter with EXP Realty. And that was the time that I was with EXP.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, yeah, how are you? And then I think it was a text message I sent you. And then because we were texting at first.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, I had called you, didn't get you. So I texted you right after. And you were like, I'm already I'm a mortgage broker. And I'm like, oh, are you?
Oh, I think that's hilarious.
And so, but it's been awesome, because I think we talked for like an hour or so.
Yeah.
After we actually literally got on the phone and talked to each other, and it was just crazy because I learned so much from you. Even the difference between a mortgage broker versus a mortgage originator. So it was awesome, and you had so much information to share, and you were willing to share it. And within, in this industry, what I feel like, if you're able to share that information, and it's just more reason for me to connect with you, more reason for you to connect with others, because you're willing to just share that information and say, hey, listen, this is what we need to do, or, and that's how it's been ever since we've talked. Unless you say different, but I feel like that's how it's been since we've connected. And so, yeah, that pro of cold calling. Listen, guys, cold calling is not that bad when you do it, because after a while, you got to think about it. It's like, well, you got to connect with somebody somewhere.
You did text first, so was it? I'm just thinking of like 1990, when you're like in the room with everyone, the phones are off the hook, and you're standing, you're calling and dialing, smile and dial, ABC, all that fun stuff.
Totally.
Always be closing.
Yep. That's Verilyn is real good. She worked real hard on her LP Mama. So like she was real good at that. So that's exactly what I see too. That's why I say it makes me giggle. It makes me giggle.
Listen, now it's just part of my life. I do it now, and just I don't even care. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. And let me tell you, the lender and agent experience is really important, and just kind of going into it, because we connected so well. I want to kind of talk about the value of having that great relationship with an agent and a lender. And I wanted to talk about that with all three of us, because, people out there just think, oh, well, I have this great preferred lender. But the question is, how well do you guys work together? Is it just more just kind of pushing the documents and, getting a couple, numbers together and helping this buyer get into a home? Or during that process, does that buyer feel comfortable with every step of the way when you have a great agent and a great lender working together to help them get into that home? So I want to kind of talk about the value of the relationship between an agent and a lender, and kind of get your thoughts about how you feel about that process. And I'll start with Anna.
It's most definitely extremely important, because, again, realtors, if it wasn't for you, I don't think we would be successful, or as successful as we are. And then we don't get to really meet people because we're sitting behind the desk originating, working on numbers and things of that nature. So you're really like the face for us. You know, they meet you first, you're in the front lines. The relationship's super important because there has to be communication at all times. I firmly believe that. And always being available. Like even now on a Saturday, picking up the phone, having the conversations, even the uncomfortable conversations like, hey, this person may not qualify, not going into details, obviously, because of their privacy, but enough information to where, how are we going to make this work for this person? Maybe not today, but how about tomorrow? And that's something that, you know, we do a lot. And there's a lot of guideline changes too, especially now. I mean, with what happened with COVID and just the student loan example that I gave you, remember? Because you said that you remember one of our clients, she was actually denied from another lender because of the student loans, because they were charging 1% per student loan if it's deferred. That's what you have to do. Well, now FHA, you only have to do 0.5%, and same with Freddie Mac. Also, there's those income-driven programs, and Fannie Mae is accepting 0 payments for student loans, as long as we have the evidence and the documentation to show that it is. So that's just one prime example of being in communication with a lender, because we have to be up to date in our guidelines. No matter how long we've been in the business, we got to pull it up, we got to read it. Things are always changing. And same in your business, contracts have changed for realtors, things of that nature, things that we need to know, contingencies. So it's super, super important that we communicate that and then put it in layman's terms for our borrowers, and making them feel comfortable that we've got their back. And we want to make sure that they go through the transaction without having so many headaches and confusion and feeling like we're not there for them to, you know, just comfort them and answer questions that they have.
Yeah, that's true. And I do know that, you know, I know back in before COVID, you know, when you talk to a lender, it was, hey, just send me these documents and then I'll get back with you. You know, and now it's, you know, and sometimes you still get those types of lenders, but at the same time, you do have the lenders that are, you know, very knowledgeable like yourself, who are willing to kind of look to see, okay, let's look at your numbers. Let's look at what's going on here. Let's strategically see what we can do. So it may be a no now, but it doesn't mean it could be a no later. We just need to work on this. And, you know, us real estate agents, and I'm sure, you know, Mandy can kind of agree with me too down there. It's just that we would, you know, we don't know. We don't know the industry as far as the mortgage industry is concerned. So we depend on you guys to share that information with us. So I 100% agree that having that connection and that relationship with your lender, it can just make the whole process for that borrower just amazing. And they can come at that end of that tunnel just saying, wow, I really made it here. And, you know, and they have that smile on their face, because the last client that we actually helped, perfect example, Anna, she was literally in her living room and she was just crying of tears, because she, you know, just having, you know, us work together to help her get into that home was amazing. All I did was go searching and see if she walked in the house, but just to have that experience because of you, you know, being able to have the workout plan for her to get, you know, this document and that document, and this is what we can do, you know, made that experience for her amazing. So I just love that, to see that lender agent experience. And I love to hear it, because I not only hear it from just our story, but I hear it from others out there in the industry. How about you, Mandy?
Yeah, I was going to say, I strongly believe, just as our education taught us, you know, fiduciary duties. And that's one thing for me, doing due diligence and keeping in my lane, right? It is not my job, I believe, to do anything when it comes to lending. It's not my space. It's not where I'm expected to be knowledgeable. It's not what I'm licensed to do. And so I think it's super important that we have a good collaborative relationship with our lender partners, so that way we can feel confident about whom we are advising our clients to work with. And at the end of the day, I like to work with the partners that are going to take as much time as I'm going to take to educate and
Yeah.
guide and support through the buying and or the selling process. I want my lender partners to be doing that same thing. And so it's very important that I'm not necessarily picking that partnership with someone because they're scratching my back, they're sending me folks and I'm sending them. It's not about a referral partner business. It's at the end of the day, my clients trust me and they trust me to do by them the right way for everything. And so it's super important that the partner that I advise them to work with is going to do the like business or have the same mindset as myself. Um, and so I think that it's super important that when you're establishing that relationship, that it's really built upon that. And do you kind of walk the same walk and same talk as far as your service? It's your hat, right? It's your credibility at the end of the day, and vice versa. For Anna, I would have to say it's got to be the same way when you get a client, and you're thinking about whom to, refer this client out for the sale or the purchase of the home. I'm sure you're thinking to yourself like, okay, who do I know best that can manage this particular client, and who's going to take the time, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't want that client to come back and say, well, Anna, you suggested, and this is what we got, right? I usually have the three theory too. I usually have the three lender theory is what I say, because not everybody's personality is the same. And it gets you out of that jam, right? It gets you out of the jam of somebody saying, oh, you referred me and wah, wah. It could be anything, right? Like you guys are describing the fact that you started with one relationship of a lender, who knows why, XYZ, they couldn't get the client where they needed to be as far as funding is concerned. And so, you weren't going to tell the client no. You still wanted to see if there were more options. And so you reached out to someone else, and someone else was then able to truly meet the client at their needs. So the point in saying that is you have to have a couple of tools in the toolkit, right? Lenders meaning. So that way, you can roll them through for a variety of reasons, right? One like this, personalities, abilities to educate, so I think there's a lot to it.
No, I think the main word there is trust. This industry is growing so much, and I remember back in the day when it was, oh, you couldn't trust a realtor, you couldn't trust a lending agent. It was just like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. They're not right. But when it comes down to it, that's with any business, right? That's whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're a lender, a mortgage originator, it doesn't matter. You can just be a pizza person, pizza parlor. When you have your own business, it comes down to trust, right? So everybody wants to work with somebody or go somewhere that they trust that the product that they're going to get is good, and you're going to be taken care of, right? The service that you're going there for good service. You're going there to have this amazing meal. You're going there to get an experience. And that's what we're doing. We're sharing an experience, and we're giving them that experience for that customer or that borrower. So yeah, I like that you said that, Mandy. Trust is a big thing there that I took away from that. To even go into that, I want to talk about just go right into the communication part. So I want to say, when we're communicating and we're sharing these ideas and we're dealing with the lender, I want to know your thoughts, guys, about collaborating when you're working with that agent, and how important it is, because we're out here and we're sharing this experience that when we're out here working with these buyers and these sellers, we want to make sure that everything that they want, the needs that they're trying to meet, gets met in some way or other, right? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, kind of tell me a little bit about what you guys think about the benefit of the lender and the agent experience. Like, how we already talked about the trust part. We've already talked about how important it is to build that communication and that rapport with each other so that we can help with that borrower. But kind of tell me maybe your thoughts on the importance of, like you said, Anna, picking up the phone and making yourself available as we're making ourselves available for the bar on a Saturday or a Sunday or on that time when we're actually going through getting ready to do a deal. Kind of share that experience on your end.
My son, sorry.
Okay.
Well, that's how it is. I mean, I value family, and I think most of us that are shopping and we're trying to help, everybody values family and time, obviously, but I still want to be available, and I still want them to feel like they could communicate with me comfortably. Like if I was like a friend of theirs, even though we know it's transactional, but still there's a human aspect to it. And just having that experience and making them feel comfortable, making them feel like you're advocating for them. For example, Verilyn had a wonderful young couple that were looking to purchase, and unfortunately, they wanted to get a little bit more assistance. I do have some down payment assistance programs, but I was researching in Brevard County, and there were some excellent programs. And I told Verilyn, I'm like, I really think that they could really take advantage of this, and it would help them tremendously. It just meets all the criteria and it's not going to be with me. I'm not going to make any money off of this, but it's what's best for the client, what's best for the customer, for them to get the best program that fits them. Not every program I have is going to fit the person.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be a little bit selfless about it and find what's best for them, and it'll come back. They'll say, hey, this person really looked after me. They advocated for me, and they found me something that will help. And at the end of the day, I think that that's the main important thing, is that we're working for them. Our collaboration, our skills, our knowledge, and also, the feeling and the heart that you have in it.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, super important.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. No. And I'm glad that you said that, because when we're out there working, we're not thinking, of course, we're out there and we're not trying to do it for free either. However, like you said, it does come back to you twofold. So we're out here to serve. At the end of the day, we are serving, and we're giving a purpose. And I think that's what I love about this business, is that I feel purposeful when I'm out here. I'm not just behind a desk and just saying yes and I'll finish it. I'm meeting a deadline. I'm literally out here meeting a deadline. However, I'm providing a service, and I'm out here knowing that I can, I have a team, and I can say, oh, I've got a team back here that really, let's look at your case. Let's look at your situation. Okay, maybe you might not be able to work with me. However, I may be able to get you over to Mandy. Maybe Mandy might be the agent for you, because it's even about working with other agents, because I may not be the right agent for you. However, there may be another agent out there that will work for you. There may be another lender out there that may be a little bit better for, providing the service that you'll need, because your situation is a little different and I'm not able to offer that. So I think that's amazing, and to communicate with each other as a lender and an agent to share that, that situation or that case from that buyer or that seller is having an issue. We should be able to communicate with that to find some kind of collaboration or some kind of strategy to say, hey, listen, it may not be working for us, but let's get them over to this place here, and I think that's what the whole point of this call today is about, that lender agent experience. Just having that experience to know that we can call on each other and say, hey, listen, I've got this situation. And then we all collaborate and say, hey, what do we do? So I like that. And I love that y'all can share that or have that experience. So going into it, because I know, is that Gavin? Was that Gavin there?
The fur babies.
Oh, it's the fur
The fur babies.
So yes, we all love our fur babies. He's out there somewhere.
Mine's hiding.
Okay, you're gonna take them across the
It's
street.
fine. But no, I appreciate you guys sharing that. But what about you, Mandy? Because I know that you do wholesale. And even though you do wholesale, do you have things that come across that you have to, you always have to run by with a lender, even during that process?
Oh yeah, because still, just because we're doing that, the end buyer, it depends on, you know, what side of the client, you know's business that we're supporting. And we essentially are looking for an end buyer, and that end buyer might need a lender. It's not always a cash deal. Investors are not always cash. So we need to work really closely with lender partners for that reason too. You know, a lot of my business personally is a little bit different. It's structured a little bit differently, and who I work with, you know, most of the time they are cash. However, there's needs to do that. And I still do conventional. It's not that I don't do conventional sale at all. It's just something that in markets like we're seeing right now, there still are ways to supplement your business, and you should never necessarily be in just one way, right? You should be diverse, and I think that's the biggest way to attract clients, right? As Anna even shared the situation you guys had with that previous client, because of the diverse opportunities she was either educated on or knew, or the different programs that she could offer, she was able to work with your client, right? So I would say twofold. Investors always need lender partners too, and so my business can be kind of dynamic in that case. And then with the conventional byway, it's great to have good lender partners too, because you just don't know. New construction, although it's new construction and there's partners there that are already established with the builder, not always do our clients want to go with that program. Even though sometimes there might be different incentives and perks to do that, at the end of the day, they still want to maybe be with that local partner, right? So it's important to be able to have, you know, the tools in your toolkit to be able to offer whomever you're working with. So.
True, that is true. Well, I thank you for sharing that, because that is true. It is about the tools in your toolbox. Like, what do you know? What have you experienced to be able to overcome that challenge for that, you know, for that buyer, or, you know, or for that investor? So that's good that, you know, we can share that.
Yeah, and I think there's a big misconception sometimes when you work by way in the world of investing. I think everybody thinks that, oh, they're just always going to buy this house for cash, you know. That's not the case. I know several great friends of mine who've gotten into the industry, and their first purchase was on a loan, right? It just depends on what you're doing. We've talked even ourselves. We're just too nervous. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe we like to spend other people's money, but we're just too nervous always to pull the plug and call somebody. You know, we'd love to flip a house ourselves, or we'd love to have, you know, some, we talk about having some short-term rentals up north in Michigan, and we're just too nervous. We're too nervous to take out the HELOC. We're too nervous to do, you know, the ways that you could. It makes it scary. But that's why I think it's super important that you have a good lender partner, you know, someone, again, like we've been saying, a good lender partner, good communicator, good educator, because they can take some of that pressure off the situation, and they can coach, you know, whether it's yourself or it's your client, they can coach you through that to make you really beware that it's not as scary as it, you know, seems, or the risk is not as great as it seems, right? Once you know a little bit more. So.
Yes, no, thank you. Yeah, you are absolutely right. And you know what, just kind of going off of, this is awesome because we talked about this, and this is part of our 7 C's of real estate, collaboration. There you go. That's that one. Communication is another, you know, and just the cooperation from each other and just getting connected. those are like one of our 7 C's, that we experience. And that's important when we're in these transactions with these buyers and these, and we're trying to figure out what to do or what's the best path or direction to go to help them so that they're able to get into that home. Because at the end of the day, it's not even if they're working with me, if they're going to work with Anna, if they're going to work with Mandy. It's just the whole point of let's see what we can do to collaborate and kind of get an idea and strategy to say, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. This will be best for you. We can make this happen, but it's really pretty much up to you. And just knowing that they have that team of support, then of course they're going to want to say, oh no, I want to work with this person. Like you said, they'll go to a new construction build and they'll go with that preferred lender, but then they'll still want to work with, who they decide they want to work with that they can trust and that they like. So, no, you're absolutely, I like that you shared that point. But I am going to say
no, you cannot go outside by yourself.
I want to kind of, because it's getting closer to the time
Gavin.
now, but I want to kind of touch base and kind of
Gavin.
kind of touch base of where we can find each other, because I know Anna knows a lot of people.
He went outside, Brian.
I don't know if
Gavin,
you're worldwide,
do not go outside.
or if it's just here in Florida, but kind of tell us the company you work for,
Gavin,
how long you're in the business, and where we can find you.
Okay, well, I work for my home team funding. I've been working in Orlando since 2013. So Orlando, it is a big city, but
Gavin,
everybody knows everyone.
Ange.
And I also, I live in Volusia County now, so I'm near Daytona, New Smyrna, those areas. So it's just going out and just talking to people, just being open, being friendly, being part of the community, going out of your way to help people, and just researching, going online. So the way that, to find me would be...
You didn't prank me. You made me angry.
Social media. I try to keep a presence there.
You made a dangerous
But I
choice.
also like to network a lot with realtor partners, title agencies, insurance companies. I know some really good insurance agents. And again, I'm not closed-minded. I don't just work with a particular group of people. I like working with many different people. Just like some people like to work with many different lenders. Like I said, if I know someone's better than me, I will send them over there. There's my nail tech, for instance. Who knew? She was a lawyer in Vietnam, had like 5 properties there, sold them all, wants to purchase here. I know a loan officer that speaks Mandarin. So guess what?
Yes.
That's a match made in heaven.
Yes.
Wouldn't have been for me, because I told her, I'm like, I apologize. I want you to understand this 100%. And I want you to be comfortable. Just because, we're nice to each other, we like each other, and she's wonderful, it's still a business transaction, and she needs to get the best service possible. So that person definitely was a better fit for her. And that's just the way it is, just going out, networking, talking to people, researching, I just go online a lot, and I read, and there's conventions, seminars, a lot of those, it's like first-time home buyers, conventions, things of that nature, appearing there, sponsoring things. So there's just a lot of ways to just build your network, just having, just put yourself out there. Don't be scared to do that, because at the end of the day, you're helping everybody else to become better. So I think it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you. Yeah, you are right. You are absolutely. Education and knowing and just going out there and just doing the research. I'm an advocate of researching as much information as I possibly can, because I know that there's things that even come in my pocket. I'm like, oh, what is this? And I'm looking at it and I'm researching it, but I don't have to use it at that time. But I do write it down, and it's like, oh, well, this could be helpful for later, because again, for those first-time home buyers, nobody knows about these different programs. Nobody knows what they can do. They have all this information online, and when they reach out,
you made an
unsafe
choice, son,
right place.
And so, you know better.
Like I said, I'm a big advocate of researching and knowing that information, writing it down.
When I'm done, I'll talk to you.
Notebook of the
when I'm done, I will talk to you.
Because there's so many things that happen throughout the year. And even when I'm researching, I write it down, because I can know that I'm like, oh, this is going to be important later. I love that. And I love dealing with people and working with people that are the same mindset as I am. So I appreciate you saying that too. Also, now for home team funding, do you work only out of Orlando? Are they based out anywhere else? In the country?
We work. I basically work the whole state of Florida. I'm not limited to Orlando. I do transactions in Miami. I do transactions in Tampa, obviously Brevard. I am bilingual in Spanish, so I work with a lot of people from different nationalities. I was born in Panama, so that's where my connection to the culture comes from. But I work with everyone. I mean, I love working with different cultures, different groups of people. I worked with somebody from Haiti. Absolutely loved working with him. Good energy. I mean, I'm not limited. I'm glad that we have the technology we have now to be able to expand our network and still be able to touch base, even if we're not there in person. Just picking up the phone every time that they call, or at least texting them back saying, hey, I'm not available right now, but I will get with you as soon as I can. I just want you to know that I'm here. And they like that. People want to be comforted. So even if you're not like right there next door to them, you could still have that kind of service just remotely too.
Okay. Mandy, let's definitely talk about you. Where can we find you, Mandy? For those who probably jumped on here and never got the chance to talk to you before or hear anything that you've said. So let's see. Tell people where we can find you.
Yes, thank you, Marilyn. So again, Mandy St. Ange with Monarch Movement Real Estate Group, brokered by EXP. I am here in the Colony, Texas, just a street shy of Frisco. So my immediate market is Frisco, Plano, Salina, Prosper, etc. Basically Collin County here in Texas. And as you mentioned earlier with the wholesaling, typically work with, investors and also sellers for sure, off-market sellers. But I also do relocation. That's where I began my journey. And then I also have a business partner located outside of state in the Tampa area. So if I'm not able to service clients here in Texas, I do have a business partner there in Florida. And then, of course, your fabulous self as well. Michigan and North Carolina, we have media partners there too. So, but if you're looking to see my face, it's only going to be here. So.
Well, thank you, ladies, for sharing. Again, I'm going to say who I am, and I'm going to share with the audience that I am Marilyn Porter over here in the Space Coast of Florida, where the rockets go up, and I see them almost every day, just about. Hopefully, I'll be able to catch the next one so that I can share it with everybody here on Facebook and Instagram. But you can find me on Facebook, not only just in 7 C's of Real Estate here, but you can also find me on Marilyn Porter. And I'm the one with the blue navy jacket because I evidently, people say that I'm all over the place, but I'm the one that you can find right here looking like this with the blue navy jacket, blazer. That's me, Marilyn Porter. And you can also find me on Instagram for the buyers. I'm always for the buyers. I'm always looking for a new buyer. I'm always trying to see if we can help a buyer that can get into a new home. I'm just there to just facilitate and educate and enjoy. And we're also here with Florida Realty and Commercial. And it's Greats Brokerage here in Florida. And we are migrating over to all of Florida, not just Brevard County. So if you are an agent here in Florida that is looking to get with a really great broker company and learn and build and grow, definitely reach out to me. So thank you, ladies. I enjoyed this conversation, the lender and agent experience. I hope that other agents and lenders can have the same experiences that we have. And if anybody has any questions, they know how to reach out.
Yep. Thank you, Miss Anna, for joining us today. And we
thank you for having me.
Yeah, we look forward to future relationships or partnerships between the three of us. And thank you for your time. We will be back again next month, the second Saturday of the month, and we will be back at our normal time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So in the meantime, be sure to check out the Facebook group, the 7 C's, get collaborative inside of that group. Post questions, answers, thoughts, ideas, anything. We're there. As Verilyn said, you can both find us both on Facebook, Google business page. You can also find us all on Instagram, and I assume that Miss Anna has the same opportunities. But when in doubt, don't forget to reach out to us in the Facebook group first, and we'd be happy to point you in the right direction. So, with that, ladies, I appreciate you. Appreciate your time and flexibility and working around with us today in our busy day. I know you have one too. Time is precious. We will see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Anna. Thank you, Mandy.
Bye.